Hey everybody, welcome back to OldBeardedGaming. It's been a hot minute since we've been on the RlCraft, but happy to be back. Sadly, we left some things unfinished. We were supposed to be going and working our way towards Lost Cities. But yeah, that's a fishing rod in my hand. You know what that means. We need to complete some fishing. As we take a look at it, there's no green check mark for the Gone Fishing section of quests. And it occurred to me that there's something hidden here. There is something missing. After a little bit of research, I would come to discover that that something missing is actually MAGIKARP. That's right, your favorite collectible Pokemon. We gotta go catch him. So I would do a little bit more deeper diving. And after spending a ton of time in the GitHub for the Advanced Fishing module, I would find that MAGIKARP was coded there, but didn't belong to any of the loot pools for the various biomes. That then took me to the Fishing Made Better module, and inside the configuration folder, inside of the RlCraft mod pack, we find that there is a advancedfishing.json file there that has all the details for MAGIKARP. This was going to be a bit of an uphill battle. So if you open this file inside of the Notepad++, very easy to see a couple details here about this fish. First of all, rarity 1. That means 1% chance to catch. Additionally, it's found at a Y level between 55 and 80. Not too crazy there. It is untrackable. The trackable flag is set to false, so it's not going to show up on the fish finders, and it only exists inside of the river biome, meaning you actually have to be standing inside of the river, as I found out, to be considered inside of that biome and cast your rod into that water specifically. I guess you could stand on the shore, but then you're taking a little bit of a risk knowing truly where does the other, edging biome end and where does the river actually start. A later revelation I wouldn't discover and actually pay attention to until much later, but it ultimately is what helped me catch MAGIKARP faster, and that was the min depth and max depth levels there, 120 and 140. What that translates to is not necessarily so much depth as it is distance that the fish spawns at, and that distance correlates to the distance in the little mini fishing game. So you have to have the rod, the reel that allows the maximum up to 150 for the max deep level, apparently is what they refer to that as. And by just canceling your fishing, you can spam through and cycle through until you get a fish on the line that's at least 120 units away. So now we'd need to find a river biome. And as luck would have it, there's a river literally just right outside of our home base here. It's a little bit cold, but we go from being in the rocky plains to being inside of the river, which was just going to be perfect to try to get going with this. So we'd get a couple resources, a few blocks to just kind of build up a little podium to be able to cast our line out there. And originally when I first started doing this, it was, okay, let's just start, kind of reeling everything in. Even though I had my suspicions about what that max depth was, I didn't want to miss any opportunities given that this thing was a 1% chance. So, we'd spend a considerable amount of time, days in game, going back to the spot, fishing. We'd change it up, we'd go to the other side. You can see the pile of loot sitting there from the previous location. This stuff just starts adding up. I had no reason to pick up any of it. But boy, were we spawning just a lot of these guys, making it really annoying to try to do this fishing. In fact, I don't remember fishing up so many in any of the other locations as we went through getting all of those additional quests. So this would be our life, fishing here in the cold and the ice. We were occasionally getting too cold, taking a little bit of cold damage, not an issue for us. But that's with having heating applied on all 4 of the armor locations as well as the Aussie liners. So that was a little crazy. After some time, though, I thought we'd vary it up because with the fish being untrackable, it dawned on me that it's completely possible that that fish did not exist in that section of that river. I found that to be kind of more of the case when I was fishing for whales in the oceans. That several locations I would go to where I would do my fishing for those in the ocean biomes, which are trackable, would not show up in the tracking list. So, you never know with this particular fish. And on top of that, being 1%, I mean, you got to dedicate a decent amount of time to a given fishing hole to say, okay, I don't think that it's honestly actually here. So that's kind of what we kept doing. We would get to a new spot in the river, make a little area here to kind of fish, and just kind of keep moving it around. As it was, this location was next to Desert City 4. It was actually relatively peaceful, minus the stuff that we would be fishing up, but boy, we spent just, again, days and days in game in this location, casting our line out there, going back to the notes, pulling back up the file for the fish, and just trying to find anything we could about what we can do to increase our chances or odds for this thing. It's also important to note that while there's very, very limited information about MAGIKARP out there on the internet, at least that I could find, really reserved to just the information inside of the GitHub for the fishing module itself, and like one guy on Reddit asking, "Hey, I fished this thing up, but the quest didn't give me credit for it." Well, then that got me going down another rabbit hole, and I dived into the Better Questing module, learned about the various admin commands that work for that module, and that's what allowed me to realize and see in the edit of that module that there was a hidden fishing achievement there, fishing quest for the MAGIKARP. But additionally, the way that the retrieval task is set up in this one, you have to modify the file for it to ignore the NBT flag itself. And apparently what the one guy ran into was he fished one up, and as you'll see when we fish one up, the thing has like 4 NBT tags assigned to it, which is kind of interesting, but I don't believe that that's what the quest was looking for. So I didn't want to take any chances with it while I was in there. I turned that flag to false so that it would ignore the NBT flags if and when we did fish this thing up so that we could get credit for it. So if you're going to want to get credit for it, you're probably going to want to do the same. I don't believe that that has been fixed because I'm pretty sure it's just unknown inside of the the 1 point or the 1C update. Again, we're just on straight 2.9 here. Learning about the Better Questing, though, was good because it also allowed me to figure out what we were missing from the Better Baubles. And actually, it was another Reddit post that somebody was asking about why don't I have a green check mark for the Better Baubles. And I was like, I don't have a green check mark for it either, but I don't see anything else there. And sure enough, we need to get one of each of the race rings in the Lost Cities to complete that. So something we were probably planning on doing anyways, but and definitely at least picking up one, we would have popped one of those hidden achievements naturally, I think, and we would have been able to take it from there. But you see here the live footage of reeling in the beast. We finally cycled through to get one that was over 120 meters out. That's a heck of a fight, honestly, and I was afraid of the line breaking, which I don't know can happen in the modified versions now. I don't think in 1C your line even has a chance of breaking now. But I knew this had to be it. This was the only fish that had a distance of that, and sure enough, there it went flying. You saw the name on the screen there. There's MAGIKARP. So we dive down, we pick them up. Quest complete. Quest complete. 1%. This took probably about 9-10 days in game between those two fishing spots, and sure enough, we see that the quest is complete. We get our prize, which for all intents and purposes, I'm considering that a Pokemon League hat, even though it just says red baseball cap. I think that's what they meant there. So with that out of the way, we're free to go ahead and continue on our quest. We will be back with the RlCraft now that we can truly say fishing is 100% complete. It's done. We're never doing it again. Thanks for hanging out with OldBeardedGaming, guys. We'll see you guys again in the Lost Cities.